What's up, guys? Gabriel Varga here. Now today, you guys can check it out. I'm eating an apple, I'm staying healthy. You guys have asked so many times, what do I eat? What is my normal diet on a day-to-day basis? But instead of addressing that today, I'm actually going to take an opposite approach, and we're going to talk about the foods I don't eat. I never eat, I will not even look at the grocery store. And the list might surprise you a little bit, so stay tuned, that's coming up right now. Alright guys, in a future video, as promised, I will take you through my entire diet throughout the whole day. But before we get to that long drawn out video, because it will be long, we're going to do a short video today. And I'm just going to walk you through what I avoid at the grocery stores, what aisles I generally avoid, what I will never touch. Because there are many, many fantastic foods at the store, but there are also so many foods that you don't even want to think about putting in your body. They are hardly even food. So let's start off and talk about the junk food aisle. You're walking down that aisle, and on both sides are food you generally do not want to be putting in your body. One side is usually pop, the other side is chips and candy. Now, I will walk down that aisle about once every couple weeks just because I'd like to go and get some organic blue corn chips. And I'll just crush up an avocado, make some guacamole, and have those two combined. It's very tasty, feels like a treat, but really is not too bad. But anything else in those aisles, I can't even really think the last time I took anything off. I mean, I've been junk food free. We're talking candy bars, like fake chocolate. We're talking about like jujubes and stuff like that, which are just no good. We're talking about most of the chips and the pops for sure. None of that I haven't had in probably 15 years maybe. Now when we're thinking about reasons to avoid this, I mean, we have our general health, and as an athlete I definitely want to be able to perform every day for training at a peak level. But also I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking about what these dyes, what this fake food will do to my body when I'm retired, when I'm getting older, when I'm 70 and 80. What effects are they going to have on me? I don't really want to find out, so I just avoid them just to stay safe. Now, fortunately, there are some very good alternatives. If you go to a health store, you can find, chocolate bars that actually have, 4 or 5 ingredients and are fine to eat. It's just a little bit of sugar, but at least the ingredients are natural. There's a lot of stores now that have like fruit juice concentrate gummies, so you can still get your candy. So I'm not saying avoid candy, avoid chocolate. I'm just saying avoid the mediocre quality candy and chocolate, or at least that's what I do. So the junk food aisle at your average grocery store is a no-go. It's just like cross it out, don't touch it. It's not for me. All right, the next aisle that I will generally avoid, and you won't see me down it too often, is the frozen foods aisle. Now, what do we have there? We have ice cream, we have frozen meals, we have frozen vegetables and frozen fruit. So far 2 out of 3. I mean, I will avoid the frozen meals for sure, because they're, unless you're getting some like fancy organic frozen meal, they're going to be mediocre quality. There's going to be a lot of salt, probably a lot of MSG and just additional flavors that aren't natural in there. So I avoid those pretty much like the plague. I haven't got one of those, I don't think, ever. The ice creams, yeah, your basic grocery store, it's again, I'm not going to go there. If I'm going to get ice cream, I'm going to be going to somewhere in town that makes it fresh from scratch, and the ingredients are all really, really healthy. But ice cream for me is not something that I really crave, so it's very, very rare for me anyway. And then obviously the frozen fruits and vegetables, I will get those, but it's not something that I get loads of. So generally for me, the frozen food aisle is a no-go. But sometimes you need frozen berries for your smoothie. All right, next up is the baked goods section, or the bakery. Now, at your average grocery store, when you go in and you look at the ingredients list and you're going, okay, what's in this piece of bread? What's in this loaf of bread? And you start reading the first one, you have flour, blah, 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 and it just keeps going and going and going. And you're like, what the heck? I don't know half of these ingredients, or 75% of these ingredients. And that for me is usually just a reason to avoid food. If I don't know what the ingredients are, I won't eat it. So for me, again, at one of those big grocery stores, I'm going to avoid the baked goods section. If I want bread, if I want something that's going to be made from flour, I'm going to go to one of the local bakeries where the ingredients are 4 to 6 max. You don't need more than 4 to 6 ingredients to make bread or baked goods. So the bakery at your big box store, your big local grocery store, is, again, a no-go for me. Now, next up, and this is going to break some people's hearts, but the juice. At our grocery stores, there's one aisle, and half of it is all juice, and then they also have the section on the outside of the grocery store where there's a whole area assigned to juice. That's the cold juice. Now about 3 to 4, probably 3 years ago, I stopped drinking juice for the most part. And you might ask why, and that's a valid question. I mean, you think, oh, juice, it's healthy, it's got lots of nutrition in it, but really it doesn't, because they pasteurize juice to make it last longer. So as I understand it, pasteurizing is just bringing the juice up to a very, very high temperature to kill off any bacteria or anything that might be in it. But as you do that, you also kill off a lot of the nutrition in the juice. So when you're drinking a lot of store-bought juice, you're just getting pretty much all sugar. And what does this sugar do to you? Obviously, sugar will increase your body fat. It increases inflammation, which is really the main reason I stopped drinking it. I mean, okay, calories, empty calories coming in, that's not great, but you know, I burn them off. It's okay. It's not like I'm worried about getting overweight right now because I'm training so often. But the inflammation in the body, the raw sugar that's just sitting there, that's doing nothing beneficial and causing me to have more aches and pains and not recover as fast in between training sessions. For me, that was ultimately why I gave it up. I actually had one of my health professionals tell me, you know, you should 100% never be drinking juice unless it's home squeezed juice. You do it at home and you're getting a little bit more of that nutritional factor in there. You know, when you're at home and you squeeze your own, let's say orange, or you have a juicer and you're crushing your own apples, you're at least getting some of those vitamins. Still a lot of sugar because, you know, it takes probably 3 to 4 apples to make a nice sized glass of juice. So it is a lot of sugar, but at least you're getting some vitamins there. But if you're just getting it from the store, you're probably not getting much. And to me, yes, it tastes good, but for me, I'd prefer to have some food that's actually going to fuel my body in a positive way and not have any negative repercussions like inflammation. So let's go through very quickly what spots in the lovely grocery store I avoid. We have number 1, your junk food aisle, your chips, your chocolate, your pop, your candy. You know, you can find all that in healthier versions at your local health store. And you might as well have, if you're going to have a cheat night, you might as well be putting good junk food in your body. That sounds like an oxymoron, but it works. Good junk food. Next, we have the frozen foods aisle. Not going down there unless I'm getting frozen berries for my smoothies. We have the bakery. Not going down there because if I want to get baked goods, if I want to get bread, I'm going to head to the actual bakery, a little local spot where the ingredients are 4, 5, 6 at max. And I'm not going down the juice aisle because if I want to get juice, I'm just going to make it up myself at home where I can actually get some vitamins, some nutritional value out of that beverage. And the last aisle that you will not see me down, I really have no reason to go down it, is the coffee tea aisle. I don't really enjoy either of those. I've never had coffee. It's just something for me, kind of a vice. You know, if I have to rely on something to keep me going, to keep me functioning on a day-to-day basis, I don't want it. That's just my personal preference. I've been doing that since high school. I saw people who would be coming in at like 16 years old and they're like, oh, I can't even come to school without my cup of coffee. And I was just going, well, I don't want that. So I just avoided it. So I never go down that aisle. And since there are no really great benefits to drinking coffee, you know, aside from an energy boost, but actually like health-wise for your longevity, I'm just going to avoid it. I'm sure there's some people who say there might be some, but that's probably the same people who argue that, you know, red wine is beneficial. Like there's lots of antioxidants. I'm like, well, why don't you just have some grapes? I don't really believe in that argument. There's a lot of studies that have sort of debunked those myths, in my opinion, that, you know, red wine is great for you. So if coffee is good for you, you have to send me an article, let me know, but I don't imagine it is. So I'm avoiding that aisle in the grocery store as well. All right, guys, there you have it. Those are sort of the 5 things that I avoid in the grocery store. So why might you want to follow my lead and avoid those foods? So number 1, you just want to be healthier. Number 2, you want more energy to fuel your body. You want to make sure that if you're thinking of being a competitive athlete or you are a competitive athlete, that you are going to be functioning at your highest performance level. And for me, really, the main reason is I'm just going, you know what, longevity wise for my career, but also just for how long I'm going to live. I don't want to be broken down and sort of feeble at 70. And if you put garbage food in your body, in my opinion, you are going to be lowering your life expectancy, or at least lowering the quality of life you have during the time that we're given here on this earth. So staying healthy, staying fit, putting good food in your body, that's what it's all about for me. That's why you see me very often eating just healthy foods. Guys, I did promise you an episode on what I put in my body every day, what I eat, so I will get to that. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you like the video, get subscribed if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you back here soon for another episode.